Immanuel Kant, an 18th-century German philosopher, revolutionized ethical theory with his work on Deontology, emphasizing the importance of duty and moral principles. Central to Kant's Deontology is the concept of the categorical imperative, which serves as the foundation for his moral philosophy. Kant's approach contrasts with consequentialist theories like utilitarianism, which focus on the outcomes of actions. Instead, Kant argues that the morality of an action depends on whether it adheres to a set of universal principles, regardless of the consequences. The categorical imperative is a way of evaluating motivations for action. Kant introduces several formulations of this imperative, each providing a unique perspective on the same fundamental principle. The first formulation, often called the formula of universality, states, act only according to that maxim whereby you can at the same time will that it should become a universal law. This means that one should only act in a way that they would want everyone else to act, in similar circumstances. If the action cannot be universally applied, then it is morally impermissible. To illustrate, consider the example of lying. If one were to lie to achieve a particular goal, according to the categorical imperative, they must consider whether it would be acceptable for everyone to lie in similar situations. If everyone lied whenever it was convenient, trust would erode, and the very concept of truth-telling would be undermined. Hence, lying cannot be universally willed, making it morally wrong according to Kant's principle. The second formulation of the categorical imperative is known as the formula of humanity. It states, act in such a way that you treat humanity, whether in your own person or in the person of any other, always at the same time as an end, never merely as a means. This formulation emphasizes the intrinsic value of human beings. People should never be used as mere tools for achieving one's own ends. They should always be treated with respect and dignity, acknowledging their inherent worth. For instance, consider an employer exploiting their workers by paying them unfair wages solely to increase profits. This action treats the workers merely as means to an end, disregarding their inherent value as human beings. According to the formula of humanity, such exploitation is morally unacceptable because it fails to respect the worker's dignity and intrinsic worth. The third formulation of the categorical imperative is the formula of autonomy. It states, act only so that your will can regard itself at the same time as making universal law through its maxims. This formulation highlights the importance of rational agents as lawmakers in the moral realm. By this, Kant means that individuals should act as if their maxims could serve as universal laws in a community of rational beings. It emphasizes the role of autonomy and self-legislation in moral decision-making. This concept of autonomy is central to Kant's ethics. Autonomy involves the capacity to legislate one's own moral laws, free from external influences or internal desires. For Kant, being morally autonomous means acting according to rational principles that one has self-imposed. This contrasts with acting heteronomously, where one's actions are driven by external forces or inclinations. Moral actions, therefore, stem from rational deliberation and adherence to universal principles, rather than from desires or consequences. Kant's deontological ethics profoundly influences contemporary moral philosophy and continues to be a subject of rigorous academic debate. Critics often argue that Kant's approach can lead to rigid and sometimes counterintuitive moral judgments. For example, the insistence on never lying, regardless of the circumstances, can lead to morally questionable outcomes. Imagine a scenario where lying is necessary to save a life, such as deceiving a murderer about the whereabouts of their intended victim. Strict adherence to the categorical imperative would prohibit lying even in this case, which many find problematic. Despite such criticisms, Kant's emphasis on duty and the intrinsic value of human beings provides a powerful counterbalance to utilitarian approaches that can justify morally dubious actions if they result in the greater good. By focusing on the inherent morality of actions and the respect for individuals as ends in themselves, Kantian ethics ensures that human dignity and moral principles are upheld, even in challenging situations. Another aspect of Kant's moral philosophy is the distinction between perfect and imperfect duties. Perfect duties are those that are absolutely binding and must be followed without exception. These include duties such as not lying, not committing murder, and keeping promises. Imperfect duties, on the other hand, allow for some discretion in how they are fulfilled. These include duties such as helping others and developing one's talents. While imperfect duties are still morally obligatory, they provide flexibility in their application, acknowledging the complexity and variability of human life. Kant's theory also introduces the idea of moral worth. For Kant, the moral worth of an action is determined by the motivation behind it. Actions done from duty have moral worth, while those done from inclination or self-interest do not. This emphasis on intention underscores the importance of acting from a sense of duty rather than from personal gain or emotional inclinations. It is not enough to perform the right action, one must perform it for the right reason. Kant's deontological framework provides a rigorous and principled approach to ethics, emphasizing the importance of duty, the universality of moral laws, and the respect for human dignity. While it may be criticized for its perceived rigidity and occasional counterintuitive implications, it offers a robust alternative to consequentialist theories, ensuring that moral principles are upheld even in difficult circumstances. Kant's categorical imperative remains a cornerstone of ethical theory, challenging individuals to consider the universality and intrinsic morality of their actions. It calls for a commitment to duty and respect for the inherent worth of all human beings, fostering a moral framework that upholds the dignity and autonomy of individuals. By emphasizing the role of rationality and moral principles, Kant's Deontology provides a compelling vision of ethical behavior, one that continues to inspire and provoke thoughtful consideration in the field of moral philosophy. In understanding Kant's categorical imperative, it is essential to appreciate the broader context of his philosophical system. Kant's work is deeply rooted in the Enlightenment, a period marked by an emphasis on reason, science, and the pursuit of knowledge. His moral philosophy reflects these values, advocating for a rational basis for ethics that transcends cultural and individual differences. This universality is a key strength of Kant's approach, offering a framework for moral deliberation that is applicable across diverse contexts and situations. Kant's deontology also intersects with his epistemology and metaphysics, particularly his distinction between the noumenal and phenomenal worlds. The noumenal world represents things as they are in themselves, independent of human perception, while the phenomenal world represents things as they appear to us. Kant argues that moral laws belong to the noumenal realm, accessible through reason and independent of empirical experience. This perspective reinforces the idea that moral principles are universal and not contingent on subjective experiences or cultural norms. Moreover, Kant's emphasis on autonomy and rationality aligns with his broader philosophical project of establishing the limits and capabilities of human reason. His critical philosophy aims to delineate the boundaries of what we can know and the principles that guide our actions. By grounding ethics in reason, Kant seeks to provide a stable and universal foundation for moral judgment, one that resists the fluctuations of personal desires and societal changes. Kant's influence extends beyond philosophy, impacting fields such as law, politics, and education. His ideas on autonomy and moral duty have shaped contemporary discussions on human rights, justice, and the role of individuals in society. The notion that individuals should be treated as ends in themselves underpins many modern human rights frameworks, emphasizing the importance of respecting and protecting the dignity of all people. In political theory, Kant's ideas have contributed to the development of liberal democratic principles, advocating for systems of governance that respect individual autonomy and promote the common good. His emphasis on rational deliberation and universal principles resonates with the ideals of democracy, where laws and policies should be guided by reason and aimed at ensuring justice and equality for all. In education, Kant's philosophy underscores the importance of cultivating moral and rational capacities in individuals. By encouraging critical thinking and ethical reflection, educators can help students develop the skills necessary to navigate complex moral landscapes and make principled decisions. Kantian ethics promotes an education that goes beyond technical proficiency, aiming to foster morally responsible and autonomous individuals capable of contributing to a just and rational society. While Kant's deontological ethics has faced various critiques, it remains a vital and influential framework in moral philosophy. Critics often point to its perceived rigidity and the potential for moral dilemmas where strict adherence to duty conflicts with practical considerations. However, defenders of Kant argue that his emphasis on universal principles and the intrinsic value of human beings provides a necessary counterbalance to more flexible, but potentially less principled, ethical theories. Kant's moral philosophy challenges individuals to reflect on the principles that guide their actions and to consider the broader implications of their choices. It calls for a commitment to duty, respect for human dignity, and the pursuit of rational moral deliberation. By adhering to the categorical imperative, individuals can navigate the complexities of moral life with a clear and principled approach, ensuring that their actions contribute to a just and ethical world. Kant's categorical imperative continues to inspire and provoke debate, highlighting the enduring relevance of his ideas in contemporary ethical discussions. His vision of a rational, principled approach to morality offers a compelling alternative to consequentialist theories, emphasizing the importance of duty, autonomy, and the intrinsic worth of all human beings. As such, Kant's Deontology remains a cornerstone of ethical theory, providing a robust framework for understanding and navigating the moral challenges of our time.